So we can show the first slide, and this is the title that I invented for you. And the slowness and the lines to face a future, a sustainable future, an inclusive future for us, for you, for everybody. And this is a counterintuitive that the slowness could be interesting for us after having listened social media and fast. The next slide, try to understand why. Surely, in this time, this present, we are fully obsessionated by the fast, the speed, okay? We learn about speed newly born. The first thing that we see is the car of our parents. Then, the next, even the cars are in our squares, in our city. We have too much cars. The symbol of the speed invaded our cities. Even in Antigua, there are a lot of cars, too many cars. This is a wonderful place in Italy, in Toscana. You all knows about Toscana, and it's a wonderful squares. But it's impossible to walk, impossible to use the bicycle. And overall, the problem is that the beauty of this square is not possible to perceive because the cars. Next one. And an important philosopher in Germany wrote an important book. The title is Acceleration and Alienation. In this book, he says that speed acts as a social rule to assign legitimate recognition and disregard. Who runs wins and gains. Who goes slow falls behind and loses. This is really complicated in our society because the speed imposes us to be person that is not a good idea to be. And next one. And I think that instead exists this slowness. As it's hard to explain without control of the slide. But what I want to propose you that the slowness exists, and we try to upset the idea that who runs gains and wins, because under 20-25 kilometers. There is the possibility to have wonderful experience with the landscape and for ourselves. The next one, and I try to explain the beauty of the slowness using the word in Italian. It is word slowness in Italian. In Italy, we say lentezza. Lentezza is a wonderful word because contain inside another word. This is lente. Lente means lens. And this suggests us wonderful things, that thanks to the slowness we can look something that is impossible to see going fast. This is one of the main benefits of the slowness, okay? We can imagine what happens when we go fast. In the next slide, I try. Okay, this is a scheme that I show every time. What you see here is what you see when you go fast. When you go fast, probably you go just some shapes, some main color, brown, green, gray, no more than this. I think that it's impossible to memorize what you see going fast. In fact, Milan Kundera, in a wonderful book, the title is Slowness, says exactly that the only condition to memorize the surrounding, to memorize the landscape, is going slow. Okay? The second slide, the next slide, show you instead what happens when you go slow. When you go slow, everything appear to you very clear. It's possible to see the trees, and probably to distinguish the different trees. It's possible to see the windows, and it's possible to recognize the stones of the buildings, and so on. And everything of you see is possible to memorize. The next one show you what you see going fast. This your memory your mind memorize. And going slow, the other one. This is what memorize your mind, the other one. Fast, and the other one, slow. Okay, this works, all this situation works in our mind, okay? And and produce this connection with the landscape, okay? This I wanted to this remain in your minds. If you use too much speed, you risk to disconnect to the real world around you. The next one is the first conclusion that I want to underline. That is that the slowness works to increase our awareness about the landscape and what we have around. This means in United Kingdom they say that enforce our place identity. We are citizens of the landscape if we know exactly the landscape that we have around us. And to make it one of the tools is using the slowness. The next one. Other benefits the slowness can give us. For instance, in a recent report by the World Health Organization stated that, that's incredible, but if 50 cities in the world apply the same level of slowness of Copenhagen, 9,400 premature deaths could be avoided each year. This means that if we apply more slowness in our cities, we can save lives. This is really very important. Imagine to increase the slowness in Antigua, increase the slowness in Guatemala City and in other cities in Central America. This means to give people more possibility to live, okay, and a safer future. The next one, there's another benefit of the slowness. I don't need to pay anything to go slow. This means that slowness is in some way inclusive, because mostly of you can use the slowness, but just a part of you can spend money for traveling fast, using flights, using car, using high-speed train. This means that to invest in slowness is even a political issue. If you want to have a society more equal, you have to invest in slowness so that most of us can be equal citizens in our reality. Okay, this is really important. If you invest in just in speed, probably just a part of your citizen can join all the possibility of our landscape. The next one. Okay, this is a slide that I take care of, because I think that it's impossible to give up to all the benefits I'm trying to tell you. And so I think that the slowness is a right. We have the right of the slowness. And so we have to ask to our political makers to invest in slowness, not just in speed. The next one. Okay, then there is another passage we have to do, because it's not enough to speak about slowness. We have to imagine how the slowness, what is the tool that make the slowness work for us. One of the tools is the line. The line is a powerful device in our life. Probably the most important thing will be, okay, thank you. Make a clap for them. Okay, probably I think that the lines are the line is together with the wheel. Okay, together with the wheel is the most innovative things that we have and that we use now. even we have social media and reels, okay? If you think without line, without wheel, you are nothing. We are nothing. The lines are everywhere. My shirt is making by line, okay? When we write using a line. Our music, the note of our music are suspended thanks to the line. Without the line, the note fall down and we don't have the music, okay? Lines are really very important. And this is another important slide in my opinion, because lines are important because the origin of our way to stay in the landscape, probably the origin is a line. Francesco Carreri wrote a wonderful book that the name is Walkscapes. And he says that probably the first act we used to define the landscape was a line. Probably the track between our shelter and the first fruit plants we find in the forest. And so this, okay. Now we try to add the third step in our speech, and we try to add the travel. If we combine the lines, the slowness, and the travel, we can imagine to produce the slow, what we call slow tourism. But I don't like tourism, the name tourism, because I like the name travel, because I think that everybody can travel, okay? Thanks to the slowness, as I said before, everybody can have an experience of slow tourism or slow travel. And this is really another important issue when we decide to design a cycle route, for instance. Because when we design a cycle route, it's important that we don't design it for a club of person, okay? In my opinion, don't exist cyclists, don't exist workers. Just exist citizens that want to use the bicycle, that want to use their foot to have an experience of slowness. This is important for architecture and engineers because in their mind they have to understand that the design of a slow line for tourism has to be for everybody and not for a group of persons, as in this image. Then there is another benefit of slow lines. In Europe, we have invested a lot in slow lines, a lot in slow tourism, okay? And at the moment, I can say that 1 kilometer of our wonderful slow line for cycling sustain 5 jobs, 1 kilometer. So another wonderful benefit of this combination among slowness lines and travel is to produce job, is to produce income. As you can see in this slide, at the moment in Europe, we count 500,000 persons involved have job in the cycle tourism. And cycle tourism is one of the most important combination among slowness line and travel. Okay, and you have to think that not only you generate jobs, but you generate a way to sprawl jobs along the lines. And the jobs are really various, and many could be the jobs that you can activate thanks to the slowness. For instance, the manager of bed and breakfast, the producer of food, the farmers, the people that manage a museum and so on. There are a lot of jobs that are involved in this challenge. Now, these are an important slide that show you the income, the business that is possible to to activate investing in slowness. For instance, in Germany now, each year 9 billion euros are made thanks to the cyclotourism network that they have. Okay, and France 2 billion. So what I want to say that investing in slowness is possible to generate equity, jobs, income sprawled in the territory and not concentrated in our cities. This is really a crucial point of this kind of investment. Now, all things that I told you, we have to apply. We applied it to a project in Italy. The name is Vento. Vento means Venezia, Torino. Okay. This is Vento, a project that we launched in Italy 12 years ago. Okay, and a line. The length is 700 kilometers, okay, along the most important plain that we have in Italy, probably the most important plain in Europe, in the northern part of Italy, and connects Venice, that you find there, okay, and you all know, to Turin, that is an important city in Italy, surrounded by the Alps, okay. These lines go besides our most important river, and no one go there. People that live in Milano, we are there, okay? People live in Milano don't know anything about the Po River, and they think that is not a beautiful landscape because the speed they used make them completely go in other places. So nobody go there. The idea is instead to imagine a line that reconnect people to the river, reconnect people to the landscape along the river, but using the slowness. Now to explain you this project, I show you a video if the video works. Now the video works if the situation works. Okay, this is the best way to introduce you this project of slowness in Italy. I'm the responsible of this project. Okay, if it's possible, wow. Then a couple of words to conclude. And voila, the project Vento.
8 anni fa, al Politecnico di Milano è nato il progetto Vento. Un lavoro di ricerca che ci ha portato a scoprire, conoscere e apprezzare il forte potere rigenerativo delle lunghe ciclabili turistiche del centro Europa. Un modello di cicloturismo che non nasce per caso, dalla buona volontà o da un amore ossessivo per la bicicletta. Nasce da una visione chiara. Il cicloturismo che ha in mente Vento è un argine al declino e una porta aperta alla scoperta di una bellezza che è dietro l'angolo di casa e che potremmo esplorare con la facilità di una pedalata. Vento è un filo leggero, che ricuce le tante economie locali che non possono chiudere, che riscrive un racconto unico per quelle migliaia di beni culturali che si trovano tra Venezia e Torino e che ignoriamo quando usiamo le alte velocità. È il racconto di un paesaggio bello e punteggiato, chilometro dopo chilometro, tra risaie, campi, boschi, fiumi minori, architetture idrauliche e rurali, musei di guerra e geste agricole, ricette e piatti tipici. Lungo il Po è nascosta tutta questa ricchezza. Manca però un filo narrativo che riporti alla luce questi tesori. Vento è quel filo narrativo, un filo che ricuce e guida i nostri sguardi nel territorio, un territorio che oggi non c'è, che però esiste e resiste allo spopolamento, che vuole un progetto non per sopravvivere, ma per vivere. Una pista a ciclo pedonale di 700 km, continua, senza interruzioni, senza auto, percorribile da tutti. Un filo leggero che scrive un immaginario turistico nuovo, sostenibile per il territorio, che abbatte i confini amministrativi e che unisce salvaguardando le tradizioni dei singoli. Vento è un filo che domani potrà dare vita ad altri fili, quello della navigazione fluviale, dei cammini, delle ippovie, del canottaggio. Ma questo, di nuovo, non nasce per caso, nasce da un progetto, nasce dall'ambizione di andare oltre la piccola ciclabile locale. Oggi Vento è un pezzo importante del sistema nazionale della ciclabilità turistica. Domani sarà il filo che darà energia a un territorio che ha diritto ad avere un futuro.
Okay. Well, now we come back to the slides. Okay, wonderful. Just a couple of words to conclude. Okay. Uh, the first conclusion I want to. The first conclusion is Vento is not a project of cycle way. It's not a project of cycle tourism, but a project of territory. Okay, it's an idea of society. It's an idea to empower local community and imagine their future along a line using slowness. The cyclists that you have seen before are people that join with us as a Politecnico di Milano because in this year we promote this project to the mayors, to the governors, and to the government. Okay, and going by with our cycles along this line, we insist to the government to invest in this project and in other projects. So all that a sort of participation. Imagine that along the beach route that you all get your bicycle and go. Surely the government say, okay, how many people are interested in it? It's really very important. Okay. Another concept that I want to stress is that that line is a sort of narrative line. This is another concept that is really very important for us because everybody, every community thinks to have a diamond inside, but a series of diamonds without a line are not a collier, are not a necklace, okay? The concept is to let them understand to the communities that putting together the diamond, it's possible to make something that is more important than each diamond. Okay, so for instance, one of the works that we've done, that we made, is collect all the heritage along this line. And when I showed this slide to the mayors, to the parliament in Italy, and they said, okay, but we can't believe that all this heritage is along the Po River, and we can't believe it. Yes, it's obvious because you go so fast that you don't see anything. Okay, but if you slow, suddenly all these appear, and all this is on a line. 5 minutes. I know. The same is with immaterial heritage. One time we collect all the pasta in Italy. The pasta in Italy is not just spaghetti or ravioli or tortellini. We have a lot of pasta. And each kind of pasta has a story inside. A story of an old story. A story that is linked with the landscape and the place where the pasta is made. How to discover it? One of the tricks to discover it is the slowness, is walking or cycling along this line and discover that the name of tortellini change in various ways and change even the recipe because the local food is different in each point. So what you find inside in the pasta change because change the landscape. And this is really very interesting. It is interesting to imagine not just the cycle route, but all the narrative that you can develop in this cycle route, and that get the patrimony, the heritage of the communities. Okay. This is one of our best slogan in this year. A line that mend together the heritage that are in the landscape and we don't see. A sort of, we say we call it ricuciamo la bellezza. All together we can mend the beauty that is sprawled in our territories in a new narrative lines that everybody can read. This encourage our government to imagine a program. Now in Italy we have a program. Before we don't have it. We have a program of developing a lot of cycle routes. 7,000 kilometers of cycle route will be realized in Italy in the next 10 years. This is really very important because new jobs, new economies, the empowerment of the inner areas in Italy, thanks to slow lines, a slow investment for an high results. I wanna end my speech so fragmented, okay, with this image. This is kintsugi. Kintsugi is a technique from Japan. This is really impressive because when a very important dish has been broken, okay, they collect the pieces and they collect the pieces using gold. Okay, what you see here is gold, and the end, which is the result. The result is not a new dish, but a dish where the lines are more important than the pieces. And so the result is that if we use the lines and the slowness, we can have a best territory, best society than at the beginning. This is really an important issue for me. I call it this method slow line based solution. Okay, you know that we have in this moment the nature based solution. At the same way, we can imagine for planning our territories slow line based solution, and this imagine encourage us to make this. It's not easy. It's not easy. In Italy, has not been easy to make pressure on the government to have money for this, but it's possible. Okay, and this is the most important message. It's not easy, but it's possible. But remain that all this don't happen by chance, but we are the actors of the changement. So we have to ask this. Remember that the slowness is a right. Thank you even to the volcano for this incredible presentation.